Hey, I'm glad you can make it. We're going to talk about position. Position in its simplest definition is where you stand. Now that where you stand can be where you stand physically, or it could be where you stand emotionally or intelligently in relationship to an idea or a topic or a certain principle. So physically, we're talking about your feet. Where are your feet? Where do you stand? Where are you standing? And the two parallel each other, metaphorically even. So if you think about being at the base of a mountain, at the base of a mountain, the only thing that you can see are those things that are geographically in your immediate area. The only things that can see you are, the things that are in that local geographic area. Also, when you speak, you're only heard by those things that are in the close proximity of where you are. So you climb the mountain. Now, when you climb the mountain, you can see for miles. You can see a lot more. You have a better perspective on where you are, what your location is, what things are around you. When you climb to the top of the mountain, more people can see you. People that are even further away, they can see you for miles to come. And not only that, but when you speak from the top of a mountain, your voice will carry, and it can reach a lot more people than it does at the base or at the bottom of the mountain. Now let's take that metaphor and let's look at how it parallels between the physical stance and the emotional or intellectual stance. And we're going to use Jesus. He's the best example to demonstrate position. He was able to speak to people in a time where there was no sound man, there was no PA systems, no microphones. Maybe there were megaphones, not quite sure. But nonetheless, he was able to speak to thousands of people at the same time. How was he able to do that? Well, physically, he was able to do that by standing up high. If you look in the scriptures, the positions that he stood were always up higher, whether it was on a mountaintop or whether it was on a pedestal or in the synagogue, he even stood up on a stage, on a platform. So he always stood up over the people. Not only that, but his spiritual position was such a solid and well-defined spiritual position that people had to listen. They had to look up because he had the position that was over or ahead of where they were. And that's why they were able to receive. And that's why so many were able to receive. So understanding your position, it helps you to understand your influence. Now, we talk about influence. We want to influence people to do what we expect of them or to set certain expectations for them to fulfill. Well, I've learned, and I'll share with you, and I do teach the three major reasons why people don't do what's expected of them. Number one, they don't know. If they don't know what's expected of them, they're not going to be able to do what you expect them to do. So what do you do when they don't know? You tell them, right? Secondly, is they don't know how. If a person might know what they're supposed to do, but they just don't know how to fulfill that expectation. So what do you do then? You teach them. But then the third area is a little bit more dangerous, and it has to do with they haven't made it a priority, or simply they don't care. Now, when a person doesn't care, what they need is either inspiration or motivation. And if you're in the right position in their life, then you can bring them inspiration. And that's what you want. Unfortunately, the shortcut is we bring motivation. And the thing about motivation is if you motivate someone to do something, eventually that motivation wears out, and you got to motivate them again and again and again. So inspiration actually plants it inside of them so that they are the ones that want to do, and they will drive and they will generate their own motivation. And when you have someone that's following you and they're inspired to follow you, you will see more creativity, you will see more initiative and more proactivity than you'll see in anyone else that you're just motivating on a daily or a regular basis. But you've got to know where your position is in their life in order to provide that inspiration. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck simply providing motivation. Well, thank you for watching, and please like, share, and follow, and I'll see you soon.